Do y'all know what the oldest town in America is? Hi, I'm Little Miss Homemaker, and welcome to Heritage Ways. We're in St. Augustine, Florida. Come look around at the old stuff with us.
In this island, you'd have eternal youth. He thought that sounded pretty darn good to him. So in the year 1513, he went sailing. He went looking for that island. He never found it. He did find a much larger island, wink wink. He found the North American continent. Now he threw down the Spanish flag and he said, "I name you La Florida," in the name of the Spanish king. Well, it wasn't really his to claim. You see, there were 100,000 Tibetan Indians living here, but he claimed it for Spain nonetheless. Now for the next 52 years, no European settlements were established here in the New World. And the first one that was by the French, Fort Caroline, what is present-day Jacksonville. Spanish king's really not too pleased about this. So he calls forth his best and brightest, that would be Pedro Menendez. He says, "Pedro, my boy, I need you to go to the New World. I have a royal to-do list for you. Number 1, I need you to go get those French off my land. Number 2, I need you to establish a colony. And number 3, I need you to spread Catholicism throughout the land." So in the year 1565, Pedro Menendez and the fleet of ships take off, and they arrive here in the New World. Now the very first thing Pedro does when he gets here is he kneels and kisses a cross he's carrying with him, and he says, "Nombre de Dios," in the name of God first. And then he puts down the Spanish flag. Now if you look over here on my left, you see a very large cross. Now that cross is the approximate landing site of Pedro Menendez in that fleet back in 1565. Now just 11 days prior to arriving here in the New World, they started to see land. And that date was the 28th of August in 1565. Now that date corresponds to the feast day of St. Augustine of Hippo, and that's how we became known as the colony of St. Augustine. And that's by design. You might even feel a whoosh of air as we go through here. You feel that? Now, what happened is they found that they created a natural funnel. It pulled the air from the waterfront into the center of town, created like a natural air conditioning kind of deal. It also has to do with line of sight. Now, if your enemy is coming in the port, they can't fire their cannons with any type of effectiveness because they can't see the center of town. Also, if your enemy happens to be walking in on foot, they come around a corner, boom, you've got them. Now, the area we're getting ready to go into used to be known as Little Africa. Today it's known as Lincolnville. You'll even notice the street signs here on my right say Lincolnville. Now, the name was changed just after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. Now, this was a community established inside of St. Augustine. The freed slaves came here. They had their own churches, doctors, dentists, grocery stores, schools, nightlife, you name it. Now, the first white building that's going to be coming up on our left, this was Dr. Haling. He was the local dentist. Now, he was also a leader in the NAACP during the Civil Rights period. Today, his house is a museum. The next white house on the left, that's Miss Cora Tyson's home. Now, Miss Cora took care of Dr. Martin Luther King when he was here. He would actually stay in this house. He was staying in various houses in Lincolnville. You see, people were trying to kill him, so they were kind of hot bunking him around. Now, she made sure he had meals, laundry was prepared, regardless of what home he was in. She took care of those needs for him. Now, Miss Cora is still with us today, and she is 95 years young. Now, this would have all been orange plantations. Think about it. When you come in back there at the train station, your last half miles on a boat, or excuse me, on a horse and wagon, you see oranges for as long as you can see, and it would have smelled amazing. The reason for that is because this second plantation home, you're going to see it here on my left where the white picket fence is. This one's in pristine condition. It's called Markland. This is an antebellum style structure. Now there would be a plaza, and this plaza, as you see, is unfolding next to us on the left-hand side. Now at the far end of the plaza, you would find the marketplace. The marketplace is where they would have handled all their commerce. Now, a very interesting fact about this particular marketplace, it's the very first place in the New World that weights and measures were introduced. Go to this intersection. I want you to look at the Wells Fargo up here on my right. Look at the door handles. You're going to see it says Woolworths. Used to be an old Woolworths by the dime with the lunch counter. This is actually the site of one of the many civil rights sit-ins. They have a lunch counter set up inside of the bank still. The body of water over here on your right, that's the Matanzas River. If you recall earlier in the tour, I said Matanzas literally translates to massacre or slaughter. Now the Matanzas is part of the ICW, that's the Intercoastal Waterway. Now that runs all the way up to New England and down to southern Florida. Now I don't know if you can see it, but way off in the distance there is a piling with a green marker on it in the water, and if you look way past that green marker, you see waves crashing. That's the Atlantic Ocean.